In the heart of a bustling community, there's a man named John, a character who's as ordinary as the rest of us, yet with an extraordinary desire. John craves respect, not the kind that comes from wealth or power, but the genuine respect that sprouts from character and deeds. He's not content with sitting idle, blending into the crowd. No, John yearns to stand out, to be a beacon of inspiration for his community. You see, John is a man who understands the value of respect in the grand scheme of life. He knows that respect can't be bought or coerced. It has to be earned. And this realization has sparked a fire within him, a fire to learn, a fire to grow, and a fire to inspire. John is just like you and me. He has his strengths and weaknesses, his moments of joy and doubt, but what sets him apart is his will. John is determined to earn respect and starts his journey to learn the 8 ways to be respected. John starts his journey by understanding the importance of honesty. As he navigates through his daily life, he realizes that honesty is not just about telling the truth, but it's about being true to oneself. It's about acknowledging one's strengths and weaknesses, accepting them, and working on improving them. He begins to understand that honesty is the cornerstone of all success, without which confidence and ability to perform shall cease to exist. It's like a mirror to his soul that reflects not only his true self, but also his intentions. John starts practicing honesty in all his dealings, whether it's admitting his mistakes at work or acknowledging his ignorance on a subject during a casual conversation. He notices how this openness paves the way for trust, leading others to respect him more. He doesn't just practice honesty, but he lives it, breathes it. And in the process, John realized, honesty wasn't just the best policy, but the first step towards earning respect. With honesty under his belt, John moves on to the next step: integrity. Integrity, a word often thrown around but seldom understood. It's essentially the practice of being honest and showing a consistent and uncompromising adherence to strong moral and ethical principles and values. But how does it help build respect, you might ask? Well, when you act with integrity, you give others a reason to trust you. And trust, my friends, is the bedrock of respect. Now, John started practicing integrity in his life. He did what was right, not what was easy. He kept his promises even when it was inconvenient, and he owned up to his mistakes, even when he could have easily blamed others. And what he realized was profound. John now understands that integrity is not just about being honest, but doing the right thing even when no one is watching. John is now ready to take on more responsibility and practice fairness. As John continues his journey, he begins to understand the significance of responsibility. This isn't about simply finishing tasks on time or keeping his promises. It's about owning up to his actions, both good and bad. He realizes that he's not just a lone ranger, but part of a larger community. His actions, no matter how insignificant they may seem, have a ripple effect on those around him. One day, John accidentally breaks his neighbor's window while playing soccer. Instead of denying it or blaming it on someone else, John steps up. He knocks on his neighbor's door, admits his mistake, and offers to pay for the damages. This is responsibility in action, recognizing the consequences of one's actions and making amends. But responsibility is just one part of the equation. The other part is fairness. John understands that fairness isn't about treating everyone exactly the same way. It's about recognizing individual needs and differences, and responding accordingly. Take, for instance, John's 2 friends. One is visually impaired while the other isn't. When they play a game of chess, he doesn't treat them exactly the same. He describes the positions of the pieces to his visually impaired friend to level the playing field. This is fairness, acknowledging individual differences and making adjustments to ensure everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed. As John practices responsibility and fairness, he starts noticing a shift, not just in his own behavior, but in how others perceive him. The neighbor whose window he broke appreciates his honesty and willingness to make things right. His friends respect him for his fair play and consideration. John is learning that respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn. And it starts with taking responsibility for your actions and treating everyone around you with fairness. John begins to notice a change in how people perceive him as he practices responsibility and fairness. Scene script. John now moves on to learn about humility and kindness. 2 words that seem simple yet hold immense power in shaping our character. Humility and kindness. John, like many of us, thought he had a pretty good understanding of these 2 virtues. But as he delved deeper, he found a whole new world of wisdom. You see, humility isn't about thinking less of yourself, but rather thinking about yourself less. It's about acknowledging that we are all part of a broader tapestry of existence, each with our unique strengths and weaknesses. John began to practice this by stepping back, allowing others to shine, and appreciating their contributions. He learned to listen more and speak less, to admit when he was wrong and to learn from it. Kindness, on the other hand, isn't just about being nice. It's about recognizing the humanity in others and treating them with compassion and respect, regardless of their status or circumstances. John started to practice this by being more patient with others, being a helping hand when needed, and treating everyone he met with warmth and understanding. In his interactions, he started to notice a change. The more he practiced humility and kindness, the more he saw them reciprocated. People started to appreciate his genuine interest in them and his willingness to put their needs before his own. His relationships deepened and his respect within the community grew. But perhaps the most profound change was within John himself. He started to feel more connected to those around him, more grounded and more at peace. He discovered that humility and kindness were not just about making others feel good, but also about nourishing his own soul. John now understands that respect is not just about being powerful, but also about being humble and kind. Respect, he realized, comes from the heart. It's about how you treat others, and more importantly, how you treat yourself. And with humility and kindness as his guiding stars, John was on his way to earning the respect he desired. John is now ready for the final steps, patience and consistency. As he embarks on this stage of his journey, he discovers that these qualities are not merely virtues, but integral aspects of earning respect. In his quest for respect, John understands that patience is a virtue that is sorely tested in today's fast-paced world. He learns that respect cannot be rushed or demanded. It is like a seed that needs time to germinate, grow, and eventually bear fruit. He realizes that to be respected, he must first respect the process and the timeline it entails. John learns that patience is about enduring without complaint, about waiting for the right time, and about staying calm when things don't go as planned. It's about understanding that not all changes are immediate and that some things are worth waiting for. He begins to implement this understanding in his daily life, demonstrating patience in his interactions with others, in his work, and in his personal growth. As for consistency, John discovers that it is the key to trust. He learns that respect is often born out of consistent behavior. When people see that he is consistent in his actions, in his words, in his commitments, they begin to trust him. They start to believe in his reliability and his dependability. Consistency, he learns, is not about perfection, but about being steady, about showing up, about keeping one's word, and about following through. John begins to live these values. He shows patience when faced with challenges and maintains a consistent behavior in his actions and words. He understands that these qualities are not about immediate gratification, but about building a foundation of trust and respect that will stand the test of time. John now realizes that respect is earned through consistent actions over time, not instantaneously. He understands that the journey to respect is not a sprint but a marathon, and he is ready to stay the course, armed with patience and consistency. Let's revisit John's journey and the 8 ways he learned to be respected. John started with honesty, realizing that truth was the cornerstone to trust. He then embraced integrity, staying true to his principles, even when no one was looking. He moved on to responsibility, taking ownership of his actions and their consequences. Coupled with this, he learned fairness, treating everyone with the same level of respect and dignity. Next, John discovered humility, understanding that to be truly respected, one must first respect others. This led him naturally into kindness, where he found that compassion and goodwill drew respect like a magnet. Finally, John cultivated patience, learning to wait for the fruits of his labor, and consistency, proving that he could be depended upon time and time again. John has learned that respect is earned, not given, and he is now a respected member of his community.